I'd like to call the Water Pollution Control Authority and regular town council meeting of North Branford for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 to order at 6:33 p.m. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Counselor Abelson.
Here.
Counselor Diamond.
Here.
Counselor Miller.
Here.
Counselor Palladino.
Here.
Counselor Policia.
Here.
And Counselor Zampano.
Here.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yep.
Please, I'd like to add something to the agenda that we got at the last minute, and it's recognition of Florentino Tabaya for his years of service, and if we could do that possibly as soon as possible so that we can, I guess they all have somewhere to go afterwards, so.
Yeah, we'll add it right after approval of minutes before WTCA meeting.
Perfect.
The motion has been made to amend the agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
There's been a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next item is minutes of previous meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the December 17th, 2024 WPCA and Town Council meeting?
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor McMillan, second by Councilor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. And now we will go to our amended item, recognition of Florentino Tabaya from the North Branford Public Works Department.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're pleased to be here tonight to recognize Florentino Tabaya for 20 years of dedicated service to the town of North Branford and the Public Works Department. We have a plaque to present him. If I could have him come up with all the rest of the Public Works folks.
Actually, Councilor Policia would like to say a few words as a personal friend of Tino, so Ron.
Thank you. So Tino and I go way back into the 90s when we worked together doing security for Stop and Shop and became friends.
A lot of people got away.
They put him in charge of that back then. And for those of you that
Was it because of your hairstyles? Is that why
Same
you?
barber.
Okay, great.
For those of you who may not know Tino, he's a really soft-spoken guy. Likes to keep to himself. Franny, I think your auto insurance policy is going to go down now. But I wish Tino, on behalf of Mayor Angeloni and the rest of the council, I wish him a lot of happiness in retirement. I hope he gets a lot of fishing in and enjoys himself. And thank you for everything you did for the town.
I'd like to thank Tino for his 20 years of service to, people don't realize what goes on in public works, but the things, every day is different, and you never know what's going to be thrown at us. We've been through storms and hurricanes and blizzards and. Wow, shit. Great job, Tino. Thank you for your service.
Nice, thank you.
So on behalf of the council, congratulations to Tino, and I know the guys are in the process of taking him out to dinner, so good luck and enjoy.
That clears the room.
Okay, and now we're on to the WPCA agenda. Any correspondence or citizen statements regarding WPCA? There's no unfinished business. So the next item is new business, discussion and action. Item A, request to connect to sanitary sewers, 79 Branford Road, map 2D, lot 11.
So this is a property that just recently had a zoning change. It has a low-income housing, so there's three different buildings associated with this property. There are 3 laterals that go onto the property, and that's what they're going to connect to.
So are they connected to sewers now?
2 out of the 3 buildings are. The 3rd building is going to be connected.
Okay.
Not yet, no.
So it's only one out of the 3 that has to be connected?
Correct, that is correct.
Okay. All right. So this is the property that's by Wachowski's on Branford Road, on Route 139. That's with 79 Branford Road, that's where that is. No, same side. Yes. Yes.
There's three buildings?
There's 3 existing houses?
One is, I don't know if it's more of like a barn that they're converting into a 3rd house or a 3rd dwelling unit. And it had gone through planning and zoning to get that zone.
So, some question.
Sure.
They're going to connect one house presently.
There's 2 connected. There's going to be 1 additional one that is
So two already-
connected.
there-
Yes.
So this will be the third one?
This will be the 3rd one connected for that property, yes.
Okay. So there is a suggested motion on page 20 of our packet. Would someone like to make that motion?
I move that we accept the motion on page 20 and approve this proposal.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. The next item is WPCA application to connect property known as 286 Branford Road, map 12, lot 65 to sanitary sewers. This is the property at the corner of Route 80 and 139 where the Starbucks is going.
Yep, so this, as you can see, the fee was calculated based on the square footage of the building. Worked out to 3 commercial units, and that was the $12,000. They are extending the sewer main along Oxon Road and then down Branford to connect to the sanitary sewer for this property.
Okay, so there is a suggested motion on page 23 of our packet. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept the motion on page 23 as proposed.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Sorry, I'm gonna ask a rush.
Go right ahead.
So I'm reading this, there's gonna be 3 buildings on this particular lot, or is there one building with 3 units?
It's 1 building with like 2,400 square feet, and so every 1,000 square feet is considered a commercial unit, and that's how we calculate the connection fee. It's only one unit.
So it's 1 unit of...
1 unit, just solely the Starbucks, but it's considered 3 units as far as the connection fee goes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Citizen statements and petitions regarding WPCA. Okay, now we're on to the regular town council meeting. First item is community events and presentations. And we have a presentation tonight from Emily Higgins for the East Haven Animal Control.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. It's been a little while since we saw each other, but 2024 was the first full year that we've actually been partnered with North Branford, so it's really interesting to see as far as numbers, what exactly a year gave us from you guys. As far as animals actually coming down to the shelters, whether that's dog bite quarantines for ones that weren't up to date, or surrenders, or just roaming strays that we actually had to bring there, we had a total of 46 throughout the year, so not that many compared to East Haven, so not as busy, but still a decent number. So I'm curious to see what 2025 brings. Who knows? Unfortunately, throughout Connecticut, we've seen a really big animal crisis as far as animals getting dumped and cruelty cases. So I'm hoping it doesn't get any higher, but we don't really know. We did have one dog dumped in North Branford in 2024, but he was actually adopted by the people that found him. So it was a good, happy ending. Other than that, so far, you guys have been great to work with. The PD and fire department, everyone has been extremely welcoming and happy to work with. The residents have given us really good compliments and reviews after working with them. So it's been really good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Have you had any outside the box type of animals that you've had to rescue or take in or?
Not yet.
Okay.
So nothing yet. We're prepared for anything. We bought, after partnering, we actually got a horse trailer for any type of livestock we might need to do. But other than rounding up a few cows and sheep and just immediately getting them home, we haven't had to actually take any. So it's been good.
All right.
All right. Does anyone have any questions as far as like the shelter? I don't really do anything else. Anyone?
How did we do numbers wise versus what we were anticipating? Were we close or
It
under?
was hard. So there were no actual exact numbers given from your partnership before. So I would say, from listening to Owen and kind of just living near this town for a while, I'd say we pretty close of what I was expecting. I definitely didn't expect East Haven or New Haven busy.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Unfortunately, all the towns have been going up, but hopefully it doesn't go up much here. A lot of the people they're great and good neighbors who keep an eye on everything. So if someone does something, someone reports it right away, which is nice.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. We're on to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. First one is economic development.
Well, I have nothing to announce because there's two members here. They're going to announce a restaurant month in February, so that's going to be mentioned in public comments. And then the town manager is going to mention 2 ribbon cuttings during his report.
Okay. If they would like to come out now during economic development, they're more than welcome to come out.
Would you like to come up?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. that's-
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm Elizabeth Kaplan. I'm the Chair of Economic Development. I'm Melissa Pantaleo, Vice Chair of Economic Development. And as you heard Craig say, this is going to be our inaugural restaurant month, the month of February. And this came about through Michael Downs' suggestion a few years ago when he was hired. He had wanted us as a town to do a restaurant week. But as we thought about it and processed, and Rory has been a tremendous support and really coordinator of all of this, we thought because of the size of our town and the amount of restaurants we had, doing a restaurant month would behoove both the restaurants and the patrons. And then we could really talk about it near and far. So I think Craig has a little sheet that I typed up really quick. Hopefully there's no typos, but essentially this is a synopsis of the event. We went back and forth several times on how to do this with ease of use from the restaurant perspective and the patron perspective. So what we came up with, a good old-fashioned like raffle ticket system. Rory bought like larger raffle tickets. The restaurants are getting fish bowls. So for $25 purchase, whether it's dine-in or takeout, the patron gets offered, would you like to participate in this? It comes with they're not going to explain all that. But anyway, so their name goes into a fish bowl, or their number ticket goes into a fish bowl. At the restaurants, they'll each have a list of the 11 restaurants participating. I'm hoping to hear back from Mill Pond tomorrow, which would make it 12, which is really, if you think about it, is pretty fantastic. And we're really super excited about their desire to do this. And at the end of the month, we're going to gather the fish bowls, count everything up, the tickets at the town hall before our meeting, because we want to be able to give the restaurants some data back. Hopefully this helps increase some of their business. We will be marketing through the Shoreline Chamber, surrounding towns as well, and also on social media, you know, the North Branford sites, and hopefully people will share it. So you can see the list of restaurants that are participating, 2 of which decided to give us gift certificates and not do the ticket, but still they're, you know, they're very kind and generous. So the great part is when the grand prize gets pulled, so one ticket will get 50, we'll get 11 or 12 potentially, $50 gift certificates from those participating restaurants, which is pretty phenomenal. And then second prize, one person will get a $25 gift certificate from all the participating restaurants. So it's a win-win for everyone, and I'm sure, I don't know if how many of you ever gotten a gift card. No one ever spends the minimal amount typically, but it'll be good for the businesses after. And we're just super excited. Did I forget anything?
No, I think the only thing that I wanted to say is we kept it inaugural to the 12 restaurants with hopes of that the data we present to the restaurants next year, we make it bigger and better to even include some of the wineries and breweries. And again, you know, continue to support the restaurants in a slower time when it's cold out and gets dark early, and entice people to get out in the month of February.
Does anyone have any questions?
Well, I think it's a great idea, and it's a good way to promote businesses in town also. So,
Well, we certainly hope you will all partake, and the folks that are seeing this broadcast will also help support our restaurants. And thank you so much. Have a
do
great...
you want to just read off the names of the
Sure,
restaurants?
absolutely. So Angiolo's Wood-Fired Pizza in Northford, Poppy's Coffee and Kitchen, Bobby's on Route 80, Capone's, Duty's, Giovanni's, Hidden Kitchen, Nada's, Supreme Seafood, Taco Palace, Katsu, and as I said, we're waiting to hear back from Mill Pond, so hopefully they'll participate as well. Right?
Great.
Thank
Nice
you.
selection. Thank you. Okay. Park and Recreation did not meet in December. Their next meeting will be next week, which is the 4th Tuesday. Is that when we're still scheduled? Okay. So their meeting is next Tuesday, the 28th. Police Commission?
The Police Commission met on January 13th. Chief Lovelace announced that Detective Paroli's hard work made him Officer of the Month. He evidently had a lot of persistence and effort and hard work in solving a cold case and bringing it to a successful conclusion. Most of the other discussion during that meeting was about the building, its update, its punch list. They also talked about the fact that our canine Chase has had some medical issues, but I guess he's on the mend. And a lot of the rest of the meeting was about the public safety radio system. In fact, I think what was really nice is that the fire chief and 2 members of the fire commission were also there for the discussion. I think it was a healthy discussion, and I think the 2 commissions agree that from time to time they should meet together. Overall, I think it was a very successful meeting. The next meeting is February 10th.
Okay, thank you. Fire Commission. Jeff, do you have anything else?
Yes, Fire Commission met at January 2nd. Company 2 did a brief recognition to Ron Nokra, who has come off the Fire Commission. We want to thank him for his service. There has also been some mentioned in other committee reports, information on the radio system and some issues that they've been having with the radio system, and working both with Police Commission and the communications group to get that rectified. They also discussed some unfinished business in the way of substance abuse policy in Chatham. Next meeting is February, sorry, I don't have the number. Keep me honest, Anthony, when is the next one? 6th, I think. February 6th at Company 1.
Mayor, I said Chase, I meant Chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Thinking of Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
I used to watch that.
Planning and zoning,
I did not attend the meeting.
okay. Finance subcommittee met last week. There are a number of items on our agenda tonight, one being the STEEP grant. So the state has come out with a new round of STEEP grants. This time, the STEEP grants, in the past, they've been much lower. This time, it's up to $1 million, which is significant. And we talked about, were there any possibilities of any projects ongoing in town that would qualify for the STEEP grant? And we're fortunate that the work at the HVAC system at Edward Smith Library would qualify. So we can put our application in. There's no guarantee that we're going to get it, but at least it's a positive note that there's some money available possibly for this project, because it's not going to be a cheap project. So we talked about that. And then there is a report later from our IT person, Dennis Pannone, in regards to the Munis system and some additional training possibly that we need in the system. Last month, Councilor Policia had asked about an accounting for the communications project that we bonded for. And there was a special meeting that was held that was requested by the chair of the Fire Commission. And there were 2 members from the Fire Commission, 2 from the Police Commission, Marie Diamond, myself, Chief Lovelace, and Anthony Esposito. And the question was, they needed an accounting to see once exactly where they were. There was a discrepancy between where the committee thought they were and what the actual numbers were. And we worked it out in that committee, and they are not short any money. The money, it was just an accounting issue that was resolved, and there is money left in the project. And it was pretty much where they thought that they should be in regards to that. Also, we talked about a financial advisor for the town. And so what we found out is that I didn't know that we had a financial advisor, because the name that I had heard in the past I thought was related to our bond company, Robinson and Cole, but actually Mark Chapman, who Anthony has used that name quite often, he is our financial advisor. So we just started asking some questions as far as how long has he been the financial advisor. And it turns out he has been our financial advisor for many, many years. And then the question became fees, how much we pay in fees to them, and do we have to go out to bid? And the Finance Committee felt that we should bring it forward to the council because the fees are over $10,000, which is the bid threshold. And as part of our fiduciary responsibility, as the council, we thought it was imperative that we do go out for bid and request an RFP. And it's good practice to do it every 5 years, maybe every 5 to 7 years. So we would like the town manager to work on getting an RFP ready for our February meeting so that we can review it and discuss it and move forward on that. So we do have a financial advisor, and it's just good practice to go out to bid and see once and discuss it. So if we can have that ready for February, that would be great. And that's all that I have on finance. Next is Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
The Public Safety Communications Subcommittee is finally going to have a meeting after many, many months. We're meeting tomorrow night at 5:30.
Okay, and where's that meeting?
That's at the police department and the meeting room.
Okay. Okay, CIWWA.
That meeting is also tomorrow. That's at 6:30, so unfortunately I will not be able to attend.
Okay, no problem. Blueprint Committee.
Meeting this Thursday.
Okay. And is there any report from the Town Center Committee? I don't see any for this meeting. Okay, no problem. Okay, on to Town Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Winter showed up in its first meaningful way this past weekend with about 5 inches of snowfall here in North Branford from Sunday evening into Monday morning. Cleanup was accomplished quickly with no significant incidents reported. Thanks as always to our team at Public Works who performed their usual outstanding work over the wee hours getting our streets cleaned and safe. We are in the middle of a cold snap with the state having activated its severe cold weather protocol. The town of North Branford opened a warming station at the Atwater Library, 1720 Foxen Road, effective yesterday, Monday, January 20th at noon, lasting through noon on Thursday, January 23rd. Those needing shelter can access the full library Tuesday through Thursday, Thursday after hours at the main entrance. The community room and bathrooms are accessible to them. Residents can also call 211 to locate additional sheltering options near them. A timely reminder is we are in the middle of winter that the Public Works Department has salt and sand mix available to town residents who can fill up a limit of 2 5-gallon pails. Public Works headquarters is located at 290 Forest Road in Northford. It's available 24/7 for private residential use and no contractors allowed. It's a new year, and with that comes preparations for the 25-26 town budget. On your agenda this evening is a proposed schedule for budget presentations and deliberations. Our town departments are currently formulating their budget proposals, which are due in to me by Friday, February 7th, at which point I'll begin my meetings with each department to develop the town side of the budget, which we'll deliver to the town council. The reevaluation process continues here in North Branford, and Municipal Evaluation Services has concluded its informal hearings with residents who may contest property revaluation. The next opportunity for appeals is with the Board of Assessment Appeals. Assessment appeals forms are now available on the town website and in the assessor's office. Forms must be completed and returned to the assessor's office by February 20th. Upon returning the appeal form to the assessor's office, your appeal will be forwarded to the Board of Assessment Appeals, and the board will notify you of your hearing date and time location via mail. We do have our assessor, Dave Ambrose, here again this evening and available to answer any questions councilors might have. As the council's aware, we are reconstituting the town's Agriculture Commission, the town council seeking applications for those who wish to be a part of this commission and to be considered for appointment by the council. We've been soliciting applications on our website, on our webpage, through local media outlets and social media. Interested individuals should complete the application form available on the town website under boards and commissions and submit them to Gina in my office at gcox@northbranfordct.gov. We'll be holding a ribbon cutting in conjunction with the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce to celebrate the opening of Mariana's Boutique and Gifts at 855 Forest Road in Northford Center Plaza, Saturday, February 1st at 11 a.m. We're also planning alongside the Shoreline Chamber for an event to celebrate Supreme Seafood's 35 years of being in North Branford. The event will be on Thursday, January 30th, 3:30 at Supreme Seafood at 999 Foxen Road. As always, we'd like to have council members join us for these celebrations if you are available, and if you're able, please do just drop me a line to let me know. As the council is aware, our Director of Parks, Recreation, and Senior Center, Jesse Catano, is leaving us to take on a new and challenging opportunity as Recreation Director in the town of Farmington. Jesse's been with us 4 years, and during that time, she's done amazing work on countless projects that have brought fun, joy, and meaning to many elements of the North Branford community. And while I very much hate to see her leave us, I'm very excited for her as she begins this next phase of her impressive career, and I hope you'll join me in thanking her for impressive service here in North Branford and what she has brought us and all that she leaves behind. Jesse's last day in the office was last Friday, and effective that date, Assistant Director Carrie Haynes has been acting director. Later on your agenda this evening is the confirmation of my appointment of Carrie Haynes to become our new Director of Parks and Recreation and Senior Center, who I believe will carry on the excellent tradition of work that our Parks and Recreation team have brought under Jesse. North Branford Parks, Recreation, and Senior Center, in conjunction with the North Branford Police Department, are sponsoring a Cookies with a Cop event Wednesday, February 19th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Stanley T. Williams Community Center. This is a community program aimed at fostering trust and open communication between residents and our local law enforcement. Participants share cookies and hot cocoa while asking questions and connecting with in a relaxing setting with those, and those interested should register by February 14th on the Park and Recreation website, www.nbrecreation.com. Parks, Recreation, and Senior Center, in conjunction with Beyond the Horizon Incorporated, are once again sponsoring a sensory-friendly Valentine dance party for individuals in our special needs community. The event is at Stanley T. Williams Community Center Thursday, February 13th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., and it's for those 15 years and under. The registration deadline for this event is February 10th. Park Recreation and Senior Center are also continuing their Mary's Culinary Classes series. Mary Amter provides a unique hands-on culinary experience that engages children in preparing delicious creations. This event is for grades 3 to 5 at Stanley T. Williams Community Center on early dismissal days. Cost is $40 for residents, $45 for non-residents, and the event will be Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, preparing calzones and strawberry truffle kiss cookies. I want to thank our state representative and House Minority Leader Vincent Candelora for appointing me to the State Advisory Commission on Intergovernmental Relations, or ACIR. ACIR is a 25-member state agency that studies system issues between state and local governments and recommends solutions. The membership is designed to represent state legislative and executive branches, municipalities, local interests, and the general public. The Commission meets monthly, and I've attended my first meeting this month. The Commission is working on a number of important issues, including municipal workforce development and special education governance. My thanks to the Rotary Club of North Branford, who invited me to be the guest speaker at their monthly dinner meeting, and I'll be there tomorrow night at Nada's Restaurant, Central Plaza, at 6 p.m. The 2025 Trash and Recycling Information Card was sent out to all residents via insert in the Totucket Times, and the card is also available to view and download on the town website, northbranfordct.gov, under the Solid Hazardous Waste Committee page. The card includes information about dates for bulky waste and scrap metal pickup, curbside leaf pickup, and when annual trash holidays are being observed, along with other essential information. This month is National Radon Month, and the East Shore District Health Department is distributing free radon tests to residents of North Branford. You can pick up a complimentary test kit at their office at 688 East Main Street, Branford, while supplies last. East Shore District is also hosting a Narcan training on February 20th at 1:30 p.m. at the Community Dining Room at 30 Harrison Avenue in Branford. The training is available to volunteers and members of the public looking to add this skill to their first aid knowledge base. And East Shore District is also continuing to administer winter vaccinations. You can make an appointment or get a flu or COVID vaccination at their Main Street headquarters by calling 203-481-4233. Just a reminder that I put out a monthly email newsletter that goes out on the fourth Friday of every month in consideration of the holidays last month it went out a little earlier, but this next one is going to be January 24th, this coming Friday. It contains news and announcements from the town and is a great way to keep up with what we have happening in town. There's a sign-up form on the front page and on my page on the town website to receive the newsletter. And also as a reminder, we have town emergency notifications available through Civic Ready. The residents can sign up for it. You can text North Branford, no spaces, to 38276 to get emergency alerts and commuter notifications. You can also sign up online at northbranfordct.gov/alerts or call 475-655-0400 to sign up via phone. Notifications go out via text, email, and phone call. In observance of President's Day this year, town offices will be closed Monday, February 17th. This is not a trash holiday and will therefore not interrupt regularly scheduled trash and recycling collection. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Permanent Project Building Committee?
The North Branford Police Department, the building is complete. Minor punch list items remain. The third-party HVAC consultant is engaged. Their report has been received and is under review by the committee and legal counsel. North Branford High School, QA&M, and Gilbane are working through the final phases, and some work has been scheduled during the holiday break. Exterior glass consultant has been engaged to review all glass installed. North Branford Intermediate School, majority of the base project is complete. There is a winter pause, and siding will commence when weather permits. And at Stanley T. Williams Community Center Pavilion, the permits have been obtained, and work is planned in the spring. That concludes my report.
Okay, so what's the status of the Stanley T. Williams, interior work, the money that was appropriated and bonded? I know in November I asked that they be put on permanent projects agenda, and I don't know if that has happened yet.
You guys received it, right?
We received it, but that's as far as we got so far. During the holidays, Rose, we only met a couple times. We did not meet yesterday. So it may be, and I can check tomorrow, we might tweet out if it's going to be on our schedule for this coming Monday.
Okay, if you could, I mean, this is going on months and months now with them not getting on the agenda.
Right.
And
I know you said it was coming. We did get notified. So I'm assuming we may see it this Monday.
and so the other thing is you have to make sure that the committee members that are designated also get that agenda so they know ahead of time. And I would suggest at the first meeting that you have that they're on there, you might want to discuss with them if they want to meet monthly, if they want to meet every other week, try and get a schedule with them so that they know ahead of time, because if in the beginning, it might not be that often because you have to go through the list of projects and then start focusing. But I think they need to be a part of how often they want to meet, because I don't know that they necessarily need to meet every week in the beginning. So that would be very, especially since we have a new director, I think that would be helpful to them so that they know ahead of time. Okay? All right, great.
Can I just ask a question?
Yep.
What's happening with the whiteboards at the high school? I hear
So-
horrible.
So we just had a meeting the end of last week, and we did get them to commit that they did not apply enough applications, and it's going to be an unfortunate situation because we have to wait until either a break. Most likely it's going to happen in the summer. They're going to have to redo all the whiteboards. So, but it's on Gilbane, and I said that pretty publicly with QA&M. Rusty agrees. It's going to be at Gilbane's expense to solve that.
They are going to pay for all of it.
Yep.
And they're doing the landscaping in the spring?
Yeah, landscaping. So Mike hit most of it. I mean, we meet with our third-party engineers for the glass. We did find that there is now 4 different glasses in the building. There are some panes that are in backwards. We're addressing that. They were supposed to be there Monday, but the snow, I think they went back today. We have some outside road issues that we're contending with, a couple of sidewalk issues we're contending with. Obviously, there's about 100 and, as of the 13th, there's about 140 or so punch list items. That's probably come down in the last 2 weeks, and we'll know on Monday. There are, obviously, the gym, we've rectified any issues with the line striping, bleacher issues are done.
How about the railing? The railing on the second floor?
Railing on the second floor. I don't know if it's done, but it was addressed at our previous couple of weeks ago, and we did rectify that, what we had to do there with them.
Somebody mentioned the issues with the gymnasium with the windows up top.
So, about the sun?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's glaring sun in there, so we are gonna put shades, or sunscreen of some sort on there, or they're gonna put a film on the windows to take some of that edge off. So, it's nice, beautiful, natural light, but you can't see some of the players with the glare coming in.
The players can't see each other.
Yeah. There are some landscape issues that we will address to finish up out front. There's a drain issue that I was working on with QA&M and the group 2 weeks ago. Obviously, that's going to be probably more of a spring item. The HVAC, we are working at the PD with our third-party consultants there, so we'll have more information on Monday about that. And on Sunday, only in North Branford, on Sunday I went out to the pavilion and I inspected the footings and the piers, and I have a problem with that. So Al and I had a quite lengthy discussion on Sunday, and I informed Mike Fumati to tell the builder that if he's going to continue, he's going to do it at his own risk until we meet Monday. And I've asked to have Steve, the building official, Al and I wanted the third-party engineer, the third-party consultant, the engineer, and the builder on our meeting for Monday. So they dug the piers, they poured it. I don't want to get too far into it, but the top of it is bigger than the bottom, and what's going to happen, the first major frost heave is going to have a problem.
So this is on the pavilion?
On the pavilion.
Okay.
So
Over by STW.
right off the rip, we're having a couple issues, and we're gonna solve that on Monday. Al and I met, and I was there Sunday, and Al came back out, and I said, Al, the only way we're gonna fix this is we're gonna force them to dig up around it, reform it, and pour it, because the first major frost, we're gonna have a big problem. So, and we'll give you a heads up. We'll have probably a lot more information now that obviously holidays are over, Martin Luther King's over. Come back to you guys with a real heads up on PD, when we get that third party, more information back, high school, pavilion, and intermediate, so things are
And
going.
we're referring two more projects to you tonight, so we're keeping you busy.
Whatever you need.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. In the town manager's report, he said, our assessors here, Dave Ambrose, in regards to reval, does anyone have any questions about reval for Dave while he's here? I don't want to pass that up. Okay?
I don't want to ask about the reval, but I just have a question, because we did agree for a program for him to use, and at one point he was supposed to come back with some type of cost savings, or how much money that they determined that they saved. You don't remember
it's the program that you...
Ear maps.
The ear maps, yes, and we never got anything about anything.
I don't have numbers for you right now. I can't get those. But
Oh, the agreement was you're supposed to come back to us within 6 months with an agreement with those numbers, and it didn't happen, so that's what just refreshed my memory.
No, that's fine.
tonight.
I'll get those. What's important is that it helped me with my field work. It saves me 50% of time out in the field, so that's where the real benefit is. But I do have solid numbers to provide for you.
And it's also used by our town planner.
Town planner, correct.
For plan, I mean,
It was tough to try to get Jeff to sway over to agree, and, based on those numbers, and we'd have no numbers, so.
No, I have solid numbers, but the real benefit is aiding me in my field work.
Okay, all right, thank you, Dave. Okay, on to citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Any citizen statements at this time?
Madam Mayor, you do have one email, I think, that is with everybody's packet that came in today from Bill Savastano. If you wanted to read that in the record.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a copy of it for the clerk so she can put it in the minutes, so that we have it in the minutes?
Did we get
also?
a copy? I got a copy here.
Okay. Any other citizen statements? Okay, on to resignations and appointments. First one is, as Mike said in his town planner report, or the town manager's report, is the resignation of Jesse Caetano, Director of Parks and Recreation. And I would just like to say that, wish Jessie the best in her new career opportunity here. I've had the pleasure of working with her for a number of years on POCO and other aspects of Park and Rec. She's been a pleasure to work with. She has an unbelievable job opportunity that was presented to her, and personally, she would have been a fool to pass it up. Farmington created the position of Director of Park and Recreations. They did not have it, and she basically is carte blanche to develop that program. And that is a great job opportunity for her, and one I wish her much success in. And her and her team, including Carrie Haynes, the Assistant Director, and the rest of the staff, have been amazing with the amount of programs that they have brought to this community and things that have happened. And I just wish her the best of luck in her new position. She will be missed. And I know Carrie will just step right into those shoes, and she will do a great job. So the next is the resignation of Tricia Mace from the Planning and Zoning Committee, effective immediately. I'd like to thank Trish for her time on Planning and Zoning. The next is resignation of Kasana Lilly, a Democrat from the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Commission, effective immediately. I'd like to thank Kasana for her work on the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Commission. The next item is D. This will have to wait until after executive session. This is an executive session item, and then we'll come back. It's the confirmation of the appointment of Carrie Haynes as Director of Park and Recreation. The next items on the agenda, it's quite extensive. It's our appointments to boards and commissions. There's quite a few of them, so we are going to do it the same way as we did it last year, and we do it in blocks. So we'll do 5 to 6 at a time. I'll read off the name of the person, the board or commission, and when the term ends. If there's any person, I assume that everyone has had the chance to go through this list. If there's anyone on the list that you do not want to put in with a group, let me know now before we start, and we will take them out of the group and we'll do them individually. So is there anyone that wants to do that? Okay, so we will start. So the first group is appointment of Chris Heon, who is going to replace Tricia Mace, who just resigned to Planning and Zoning Commission. So he will complete her term. That term will expire on 5/31/26. Will Della Camera to the Board of Fire Commission, term to expire 12/1/27. Dan Arman to Economic Development, term to expire 12/31/27. Scott Small to the Economic Development Commission, term to expire 12/31/27. And Virginia Fallon to the Library Board, term to expire 12/31/27. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second by motion was made by Councilor Diamond, second by Councilor Abelson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next group, reappointment of Nicholas DiMatteo, Park and Rec Commission, term to expire 12/31/27. Dave Palumbo to the Police Commission, term to expire 12/31/27. Karen Jakubowski to the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Commission, term to expire 12/31/26. Donna Persley to the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Commission, term to expire 12/31/26. Susan DeSilver, alternate to the Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling Commission, term to expire 12/31/26. And John Duty to the Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/27.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next group is the reappointment of R. Stephen Onofrio to the Board of Assessment Appeals, term to expire 12/31/27. Frank Borgano for CIWWA, term to expire 12/31/26. Stephen Scavo to CIWWA as the P&Z member, term to expire 5/31/26. Peter Stadlnick Jr., Economic Development Commission, term to expire 12/31/27. And Neil Salamak, Board of Fire Commissioners, term to expire 12/1/27.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. The next is reappointment of Mark Lilly for Housing Authority, term to expire 6/30/27. Reappointment of Robin Anderson to the Library Board, term to expire 12/31/27. Reappointment of Elena McMillan to the Library Board, term to expire 12/31/27. Reappointment of Teresa Franzen to the Library Board, term to expire 12/31/27. And reappointment of Jean Stabile for Park and Recreation, term to expire 12/31/27.
Motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, so,
Wife's on that. In that block. Everyone's in favor anyway, so.
but just for clarification on that, according to the charter, because I looked this up and I confirmed this, that the only time you need to recuse yourself or not vote is if it's for financial gain, because it's a small town and a lot of people know a lot of people. It's not one of the reasons that you would have to abstain for voting on, especially on boards and commissions. Pardon me?
How much money you put in your pockets, Jeff?
It's all coming out, trust me.
Double A, Jim.
She has all the money in it.
Financial loss is another reason.
Okay. Okay, so the motion was made, seconded, voted on. Are you gonna stay abstain on this?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So the next group is Robert Nowak, Planning and Zoning, term to expire for 5/31/27. Victor Pediandria for Police Commission, term to expire 12/31/27. Deb Ferraro, Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling, term to expire 12/31/26. Stephen Kenning, Zoning Board of Appeals, 12/31/27. And Ed Boughton, Zoning Board of Appeals, term to expire 12/31/27.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Discussion? Any, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next group is Hank Petrosky for Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling, term to expire 12/31/26. Deborah Anderson, Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling, term to expire 12/31/26. Bill Savastano, Solid Hazardous Waste Recycling, term to expire 12/31/26. Sherry Dolan, Ethics Commission, term to expire 12/31/25. Carl Belbusti, Ethics Commission, term to expire 12/31/25. And Melissa Bonanno for Economic Development Commission as Community at Large with Commercial Loan Background, with a term to expire 12/31/27.
I'll motion.
Motion was made and seconded. I would just like to let everyone know that last group, this group that we just started voting on, they're all either unaffiliated or independent. I did contact all of these people to ask them if they wanted to serve again, and these are the people that have responded, so that's why they are on here tonight. But they were all contacted, and they all were thankful that someone reached out to them, and they're willing to serve again. So the motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the next group is appointment of Ron Policia as Town Council Member to the Public Safety Communications Committee. Appointment of Ed Prenier as Fire Commission Member to the Public Safety Communications Committee. Appointment of Victor Pediandria as Police Commission Member to the Public Safety Communications Committee. Appointment of Dave Palumbo as Police Commission Member to the Public Safety Communications, and a reappointment of Mike Tercio to the East Shore Public Health District Board of Directors for a term to expire 6/30/27.
Motion. I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Okay. On to unfinished business, discussion and action. First item is proposed North Branford High School Athletic Storage Building. This is still on here. We're still waiting for the budget, and I see no one's here, so I guess we will just move on to item B, disposition of certain town-owned properties, evaluations on town properties from Town Assessor Dave Ambrose. So at our last meeting, we discussed this, and we had the revals done as on these properties, along with all of us on our personal homes, and the town assessor said that he would go through and do a reval on all of these properties, so we had a better idea, which he has done. And let me just start here. Where do they start? What page? 29. Okay. So you will see that Dave has given us quite an extensive report on these properties. He even did 1599 for us, and which is quite comprehensive. So does anyone have any questions on any of these properties?
So the sales comparison approach, is that what your the proposed value?
Yes. That's my opinion of the value of that property.
Your opinion?
Every appraisal's opinion of value. It's not exact science.
It's a starting point.
I understand.
I mean, I feel these numbers are pretty good. I did a lot of research on these numbers, so I'm pretty confident that's what it's worth, in my opinion.
So if we sold it, let's just say.
So are you talking about 1599?
1599.
Okay.
What would the tax implications be as far as what would?
Well, the property was assessed at $1 million. The tax would be around $30,000 per year.
So that's to the tax.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Give or take.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dave, I got a question about the Sea Hill property,
Which, yes,
293 Sea Hill. Is
that's a
that-
good one.
What's that?
That's a good one.
Is it buildable?
No. And that's why I used the 3 comps I found identified are also non-conforming, unbuildable lots. I mean, it's only a third of an acre.
I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of things at this point, but I'd like to see that one be offered to the neighbors, and if the neighbors aren't interested, I say we just keep that property.
That's a good point, because the comps I used are also non-conforming, and the owner purchased all 3 at the same time. Even if you combine those properties, it's still non-conforming. So that's why I thought these were very good comparables.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
So the only value would be in a butter.
Yeah.
The only good thing I can say about those lots are they're not landlocked. So besides that, they have very, very little value.
I mean, as far as I know, the rest of them they all have potential. This one's kind of a weird.
Well, so the next step is, the reason we asked for this is because any property over $10,000, we have to have a public hearing. So that would be the next step, to have the public hearing. And then after the public hearing, then we determine how we want to go about selling them. If we want to just negotiate with the neighbors, we can do that. If we want to do an RFP and put it out to bid, we can do that. And that's by property. It's not across the board for all of them. We can decide how we want to do that. But we wanted to get a better idea of the value of the lots, as to, does it go to public hearing or not on there. So that would be the next step in regards to this.
Other towns, they give the property to the abutters, and they also give the abutter a 5-year or some exemption, so they don't pay taxes on their addition to the property until 5 years after the acquisition date. So it's more of an incentive to buy the property, to take the property on.
But that would, we would have to, right now, we don't have that.
No, it would have to be a local option. Well, it would have to be voted upon by you guys, by town council.
Okay.
So really, there's only two properties that are on this list that would be offered to the neighbors. Is that what you?
Well, Sea Hill Road would be.
Sea Hill, 3 properties, I'm sorry, and Needed Drive, Sea Hill Road, and Old Post. Old Post Road.
Yeah, Old Post, is that next on the list?
127 Old Post.
Yeah, my value is $50,000. It's also non-conforming, non-buildable. It also has wetlands. So I made a pretty substantial adjustment for wetlands on all 3 comparables.
Page 42.
In this case, I used, they weren't that severe, so I used a 20% discount against the sale price for the comparables. And then that number was multiplied times 40%, because that's the coverage of the wetlands for that property. And I gave the most weight to comp number one because it's really almost the exact size of Old Post Road. So my estimated value is $50,000.
What percentage is, I'm sorry, what percentage is wetlands?
I said the coverage was 40%. And I used 20% discount rate for the severity of it. And whatever that number was, I multiplied that times the coverage percentage of 40%.
This is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, you did a really good job.
Good job. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yes, you did. So the one, let me see, what's the other one?
So,
Nydia?
if it goes out to bid, is the starting bid at 50?
No, we can set
No,
what we want the starting bid to be.
That's what that's what it's sell for, so you have to start a little
Lower.
It's
north.
like your house is assessed lower than you actually sell it for.
So you have to start north of that number.
Yeah.
If we decide to sell it to the neighbor, can we set the price?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We can set a minimum. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well,
yeah.
That
So
would
we're
be
not
probably-
to that point yet, but
Right.
that all can happen on there. So 53
Nita?
Nita Drive, because that one, I believe, has a lot of wetlands on
Yeah,
it. So
thick vegetation, a lot of wetlands, and there's actually a small river or a big stream that cuts the property in half.
Which one?
53 Nita.
Need a drive.
Oh,
Has thick vegetation. It's like a hedgerow, basically.
The one that's attached here.
Should we do anything with inland wetlands on that, just to make sure that it gets protected, or do we not need to do that? If we sell it and then somebody starts dumping back there or something.
That's a good point.
But, I mean, they can get a lot and get a couple, it's a buildable lot.
Oh, it is a buildable?
Size-wise.
Okay.
But when you factor in the wetland in that, it kind of makes it a tough sell.
Well, yeah, it says 90% is wetlands.
Yeah, it really is. The map, see, look at the map, it's covered in wetlands.
That's what it says on this sheet here, 90% wetlands.
90%, how can you build a house?
The other 10%'s got a sewer right away going.
Build a beach house.
I'm sorry?
The other 10%'s got a sewer right away going to our table.
That's a hell of a beach.
That might
Yeah,
be-
it's not a
that
very
might be a land trust
desirable property.
Put on
But I still think it's worth, I still think it's worth $75,000. I think it's worth that amount of money, I think.
Okay. And then the last one is 672 Totucket Road.
This is the cleanest appraisal. There's very little adjustment for this property, so the value is $135.
Okay. All right.
Same size, same rural location.
So this is a building lot. This would be a building lot.
This is a building lot.
Okay. All right.
You know, our value is like 256, but I noted here that properties to the east of us on the shoreline are averaging that amount of money. Properties to the north and west of us are around 130, 135, which mirrors my appraisal here.
Okay. So it's adjusted
It was a
according.
little over, it's a little higher than what it should have been.
Okay. All right. So the discussion at this point is, so they're all based on the assessment from the town assessor. They're all over the $10,000 limit. So do we want to move all of them to a public hearing?
I just have one question. If, was it Nida Drive, is that the
Nida.
one that has the wetlands? Or, no, is it Old Post Road, one of them?
NIDA has the most
NIDA
wet.
has
Old Post Road has wetlands also. That was
Well, one of them
40%.
90%, one's 90%.
That's NIDA.
NIDA?
That's
Yeah.
right.
So how can that what's the value? 76,000?
6,000, I mean, to
If
me,
it's
it's-
90%
the reason
wetland-
why I gave it a higher value, because it's a buildable. In other words, it conforms to the zone. So I'm thinking that if they do purchase the property, maybe they could work with a piece of the property, a little area, because it's a pretty big piece. So maybe they could work with a little sliver of it to build a house.
It's 3 acres, a little over 3 acres.
Yeah, so it's fairly sizable.
But if
So-
there's an easement for a sewer going to North Haven, is that in the 90% area or in the 10% area?
That would also be discounted also.
It just doesn't seem to add up.
So this is a 3-acre piece of property at 90%, so you're talking about a quarter of an acre that's buildable.
Right, so you might be able to get a variance if that's the case, or whatever the case is, but, so, a lot of what ifs here, a lot of what ifs, but I had to come up with a value somewhere. I had to come up with a value.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Might be a good candidate for land trust, guys.
You never know with some people, I mean, that's people.
So do we want to move some of them, all of them to public hearing? Are we thinking we want to, it seems like there's hesitation on Nida Drive because of all the wetlands.
Can we table this and discuss it before we move it? Can we have a discussion?
We can have a discussion right now. I mean, we can't have a discussion off record, because it's a public meeting.
I would say, we brought them, so we've come this far, so.
We
let's
didn't
go.
necessarily buy all of them. Some of them were
Were
probably given to us from the developer.
Right.
So they give you the crappiest pizza lots, as they're,
To be a park.
that was supposed to be a park?
Right, that was, as part of the Green Acre subdivision, that's supposed to be a park.
Sure, so let's spend the money and make it a park.
For the sewer
Or
line.
the sewer, right. We've come this far, let's go all the way. Let's.
Would Land Trust have interest in something like that? To make it more park-like or user-friendly?
Well, I don't know the topography of the land, like if you could put trails on it, and where would the trails go? Would they
Supposed to be a
be
park, so-
trails to nowhere?
Supposed to go typically goes the land behind it and North Haven on the other side.
So I,
Well,
Yeah.
can we do parties? It's okay to do
I say we move them all along and then figure it out afterwards.
okay.
Like I said, we've come this far, let's go.
Because you don't want to leave one out, have a public hearing, and then realize you need we want to do something with that one later on, then we need another public hearing for that one. Might as well
Public
just have a
hearing.
public hearing on them, and then we can figure out.
So,
Doesn't obligate you to do anything with it.
so
Yeah.
about 13,000 square feet would be buildable.
No, that's only like a fifth of an acre.
Does that, what?
Are you thinking about it?
I'm just trying to, I'm just saying,
an acre is 43
90% of 3 acres.
An acre is 43,000 square feet. 43,560.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it no more. It just doesn't seem right, but,
Following your mind.
yeah.
But like Ron said, just push it forward.
Yeah.
It's not making a
Yeah.
decision. We're just putting it part of the lot of.
Okay, so, do I hear a motion to set a public hearing for our
Set a-
next, for the February 18th meeting?
Second.
And 7 PM? Since we start our meeting at 6:30, we'll start it at 7 o'clock for the public hearing.
Sounds good to me.
February 18th.
18?
So do I hear a motion for February 18th, public hearing, 7 PM, Town Council Chambers?
Make a motion for a February 18th, 7 PM, Town Council Chambers for this
Disposition of
addition
town.
of town property, town-owned properties.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. So, thank you. That will be February 18th. So that's the next step in this process.
Move this, right?
Okay, and the next item is HVAC update on Edward Smith Library, which
Thank you, Dave.
the next report on this is under new business, so.
Mayor, I just wanted to say that Councilman Miller is right about the overdue report for near maps. Mike is going to add me to the agenda for February to discuss the grant list. That'd be the perfect time to address that issue that Councilman Miller brought up about near maps. The numbers, how much money do we? That'd be a great time to discuss that issue.
Thank you.
In February.
I want to apologize if I came across wrong because Ron said I was a little bit. And I didn't mean it to come across that way. But thank you.
No, you're right, though.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
If Ron says it, it must be true.
Yeah. Said a little bit.
Okay, so on to new business. Item A, approval to apply for steep grant for the HVAC system at Edward Smith Library.
Yes.
Did you talk about the HVAC?
It's the next, it's the next, it is, but it's then covered, there's a memo and it's covered under new business.
I'll draw a line.
There's three in a row here.
Yeah.
There's three in a row here that are dealing with the HVAC at Edward Smith. The report is your update because you have been carrying an update and unfinished business on the library. The report is your update. These two new items under new business. First, as the mayor had mentioned in finance, the eligibility to apply for a steep grant has come back this year, and we weren't able to apply for a steep grant last year because we were not closed out on the one that we got for the police station. But now we're eligible to apply again. I met with our public works team, assistant town manager, our engineering team to decide on what projects to advocate to you that we would want to do for steep, and we all agreed that with the conditions at the HVAC and it being a qualifying program, that was probably the thing to do. Again, as I note in my memo, the deadline for applying for the steep grant is February 20th, so we kind of have to thread the needle a little bit here with this being referred to Permanent Project Building Committee, which is your next item on the agenda. They've actually already received the report, even though you're formally being transmitted it today. They've been asked to report on which of the solutions in the report they are advocating for you to endorse, and they've been asked to do that by their February 20th meeting, February 10th meeting, excuse me, which is a Monday. So once we have that, we've already started to write the grant application up. We will kind of just plug and play with what the decision is. And we are qualified, as the mayor mentioned, to up to $1 million. They generally like to have us do a preferred match of 20% of the project cost. So, if we are looking for $750,000, for example, we would be ponying up $150,000, which of course is better than the $1 million we've put in capital. So depending on the project size and cost, this is an opportunity for us to use state funds to make this repair. And so I'm asking for authorization from the council tonight to apply for that steep grant.
I'll make that motion. North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes Town Manager Michael P. Downs to apply for a Small Town Economic Assistance Program Steep Grant Award for the Edward Smith Library HVAC system on behalf of the town of North Branford.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Any other discussion?
Quick question for Mike. I don't know if you know this or not, but how long after the submission would we hear back? Because this is something that kind of needs to happen sooner than later.
It would happen probably, I'm not exactly sure what the time frame is. I think it's several months. But obviously once we do that, we would engage our legislative delegation, in particular Republican leader Vinnie Candelora on it.
Could we accelerate it? Could we start the project and then, or do we have to wait for the steep grant?
I believe we can start the project. And then and then we would be able to qualify after the fact. So if we went ahead and did the project and we had the application approved, we would be able to qualify for that to cover what we had done.
Okay.
And there is, because there's a 20% match, we're putting money into it anyway. And by the time we get bid documents and go out to bid and, the whole process on there. Hopefully the two coincide. They may not, but that's a good question is, can we move along on the project?
They're still shut down, right?
They're not shut down.
Shut down.
They haven't been.
Oh, no, they're operational, but,
Oh, okay.
you know, it's extreme weather days that are problematic right now.
Yeah, so they could get shut down temporarily depending on what's happening with the unit. But at this, we just don't use it as a warming center anymore because we're not sure.
Okay.
So this is a question more for Brian's team, but we had asked Brian last time to look in to see if there was any type of legal action that could take place, being that these problems persisted prior to like the expiration of warranty. Was there anything, do you know, happen to know?
Well, no, the warranty was off.
Well, there was a warranty, now it's off, but when they started having issues, there was a warranty. in place.
I don't.
How long have you had issues with this?
At least 5 years.
And how long ago was it?
16.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it
like
was under my understanding.
after
there was still a
11
little
years,
bit of time
10 or
left.
11 years it was operational.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought we were, I didn't remember that coming up to see about warranty, that if, because of the age of the system, Mitsubishi said, there's no, you can't get parts anymore. And they estimated the life of the system at 15 years.
15 to 20.
Right, and we're at 16 years.
That involves warranty. I just think that's what she says.
Okay. All right. And
You can't make it.
if we look back at the minutes, remember we discussed it, but I don't know if it ever came to, I just know it was going to
Right.
get looked at.
Right, but I didn't, according to Franny, I didn't think there was any warranty issues, anything under warranty anymore.
Okay, so maybe there's nothing there. Just looking to see if there's any way to not have to pay so much money for a product that's not working for that 10-year period.
Well, yeah, so I don't think there's any warranty left on the, that never came up on there, considering how long ago it was done on there. So, okay, so the motion was made. Did we vote on that motion? Okay. Any other discussion in regards to the steep grant? That's where we are right now. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, so the next is the referral of the Edward Smith Library HVAC project to Permanent Project Building Committee. And once the report came out, which was in our packet, so that the engineer Fran Marola had asked them to do the study on the possible fix for the system. They came back with 4 options, the cheapest being somewhere around $500,000, a little over $500,000, the most expensive being $2.4 million. So there's 4 options. Due to the cost of this project, this is the perfect project to refer to Permanent Project Building Committee, which they already have the copy of the same engineering report that we received. Mike sent to Permanent Project also. And the engineer, I believe, is set up to go to Permanent Project on Monday night to go through all of the options with them. And they will be making a recommendation to us, rather than us sit through the whole explanation of it and then have them go back to Permanent Project. It was just easier to send it. It's just easier to send it to them and let them do that. So that's why this is on here.
So I'll make a motion that the North Branford Town Council hereby refers the Edward Smith Library project to the Permanent Project Building Committee and further requests that the TVBC recommend a solution for the HVAC issues there to the Town Council based on the HVAC assessment performed by H&L Lens by February 10th, 2025 in anticipation of the February 18th, 2025 regular Town Council meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Felicia. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay. Next item, authorization for the 2022 and 2023 Emergency Management Performance Grant Awards.
Madam Mayor and Councilors, this is our 22 and 23 Emergency Management Performance Grant Awards. to recoup costs that we associate with the emergency management operations. These grants offset a portion of our emergency management budget and are anticipated in our annual budget. This motion will allow us to receive those grant funds.
Do I have a motion? It's on page 64.
The North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes town manager Michael P. Downs to sign the 22 and 23 EMPG grant awards on behalf of the town of North Branford.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Abelson, seconded by Counselor Zampano. Any further discussion?
Is there any responsibility on behalf of the town with the grant?
No, we don't. They're actually paying us part of what we budget, so we have qualifying expenses that the grant covers, and so we qualify for them, and they're basically just paying us for the portions of emergency, like the salary for the emergency management director, for example.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Next item is revised lease with Totucket TV, parking lease with North Branford Dental.
So, council's aware that back in October, Walter Mann from Totucket TV came before us and was talking about some of the financial challenges that Totucket TV is going to be facing in the coming months and years. And I had been approached by North Branford Dental because their property is adjacent to them about parking spaces at the property that they have there on Foxen Road. They're interested in 6 parking spaces and being able to use them for their employee parking. So I talked to Totucket TV, and Walter brought that to his board. My suggestion of the possibility that if they didn't need those spaces, we could have North Branford Dental lease those spaces for $250 per month, and that would save Totucket TV $3,000 a year on their payment to us for use of that facility. So both parties now have agreed. I have, as I mentioned in my memo, I was waiting for North Branford Dental to review the proposed documents. They have done that, so both parties are interested in entering to this agreement and allowing both an update to the lease agreement we have with Totucket TV to reduce their payments from $800 to $550 per month, and then a new agreement with North Branford Dental that would charge them $250 per month or $3,000 a year. So it's revenue neutral to the town. Also, one element of the agreement with North Branford Dental allows them to construct a small staircase in between the two properties just for safe, easy access for their employees. They would be responsible for the construction costs and permitting.
All right. I suggest a motion that the North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes Town Manager Michael B. Downs to enter into an attached licensed agreement with North Branford Dental LLC for the use of 6 parking spaces at 1675 Fox Road as delineated in the agreement for the fee of $250 per month, $3,000 per year. Further, the council authorizes the construction of stairs between the property at 1675 Fox Road and the property of North Branford Dental at 337 Notch Hill Road. The expense for which will be borne by NB Dental, including all costs associated with design, construction, and permitting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Abelson. Any discussion?
I have one question.
I would have to say that for somebody that goes to North Branford Dental, I think that's a great idea because there's hardly any parking over there.
If there was a, let's be nice here, but if there was ever any type of fall or spill spots or on that staircase, is that North Branford's insurance, or would that be borne by the lessee?
I believe it would be borne by the leasee, but it would be a legal question.
I would think the leasee, but I'll probably get back to Mike for sure.
Who's responsible for maintaining the parking lot, like plowing and stuff like that?
We do that, I believe.
So the town does that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll probably get back to you for that.
Is there a term limit on this?
It's 5 years, I believe.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Now there's a second.
All right, the second amendment would be that upon the execution of the aforementioned license agreement with NB Dental, North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes Town Manager Michael P. Downs to enter into a modified license agreement with North Branford Cable Access Group, Inc. for the use of the facilities at 1675 Fox Road, adjusting their monthly fee down from $800 per month to $550 per month for a savings of $3,000 annually to NBCAG.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is approval of fiscal year 25-26 budget schedule draft.
We made a number of changes in finance. Hopefully I got them all correct here.
Okay, let's just. Okay. Okay.
Looks correct to me.
So there's two, as we've done in the past, our 6 major departments in town, we meet with them so they can give us a brief overview of their operation and capital budget. It's just them explaining to us their wishes and wants before we start the budget season. So the first one is scheduled for Tuesday, March 11th, and it'll be Park and Recreation, Fire and Police. And the second one is on March 25th. Same format, and it's the Board of Education, Library, and Public Works. And then there is the public hearing, which is on Tuesday, April 1st. This is when both the Board of Education and the town present their budgets, and the public has an opportunity to speak on it. And then we go into budget workshops. There's 2 of them scheduled for the following week. One's a Tuesday and one is a Thursday. But I'm not quite sure on here because it says budget finalization is April 15th, but then there's another meeting on April 22nd, which, why would we have that meeting if we finalized the week before?
Well, you wouldn't, but, I mean, unless you just wanted to. But I thought that was a discussion in the finance committee that you wanted an extra one just plugged in there for the date to reserve it.
Well,
I don't think you can go beyond that though, so.
Well, the reason is because on April 15th, that's our regular town council meeting, but that's also school vacation that week. So we asked if we could go to the following week, and it all has to do with budget referendum, if there's enough time, if we finalized on the 22nd, if there was enough time before the referendum on May 14th. It's the same number of weeks as last year, what we did, because we ended up doing that last year also, because it was school vacation also. And there's just a greater chance that there's more people from the council that aren't here at the regular council meeting, and which to finalize the budget, so we delayed it a week. Plus last year we had the whole issue with the solar credits,
Right.
and we were trying to get information.
Yeah, you get your full 3 weeks in between.
So
if
we're
you do
good.
it on the- yep,
So
it
we
should be
can,
fine.
so budget finalization would be on April 22nd then. And we could, on the April 15th meeting, our regular council meeting, we could still have some budget-related things in there if we still had questions or whatever. So that could kind of be a workshop at that meeting if we still had some questions, and then we would do finalization on April 22nd. And the only other thing is, I know the the only time the public has to speak on the budget is on April 1st, the public hearing. And I would just like to throw it out there, because of this being a reval year and everyone got their reval and they're really anxious about taxes and the budget process and everything else. Is there any opposition to adding a public comment section in our budget workshops? Only because the public hasn't had the chance to hear us discussing the budget, and they don't have a chance to speak on it at anything. And so their only opportunity to speak is before they hear any of our discussion on it.
I think it makes sense to do that.
So.
We're stewards of the public, let's have the ability to speak.
So if you don't want to do it at both of the things, I think we should do it at least at one of the budget workshops, before we finalize the budget.
If we do that, whichever one's got the lighter schedule, so.
Well, no, they both have the same, on the budget workshops, which is after the April 1st meeting, they both have the same schedule. So.
I'm fine either way. The only thing I would ask is, can we get something that shows what the revals before we do anything have done to, or what they're projected to do ahead of time? Just so we could see the numbers ahead of time.
The town assessor said, because he has to submit the grand list, and that has to come before the council, so that'll be on our February agenda.
Okay, cool.
What the grand list is.
Okay.
And then there's still, in March is when they have the Board of Assessment Appeals, so there still could be some variations, but you would have a pretty good idea then.
Perfect.
On there.
Cool. Thank you.
On that.
Right, I think we need to be very cautious on how we handle this, in a sense, because, yeah, we have a reval, which is increasing the values of most properties, if not all. So without any adjustments, that automatically is an increase in revenue, but I'm sure there's gonna be some adjustment, but we need to be considerate that as we go through this value process, we're not looking for a cash surplus so that we can spend more.
Correct.
Recklessly. So I think, and I think we all agree on that. That's pretty important to keep in mind, because
you adjust
the most of our citizens are starting to panic a little bit. When you see that number come through and your home just increased value by, $100K or $150K, it's.
You adjust the mill rate down.
I understand that, but we have to make sure that we're.
Right, yes.
That's kind of what I was going at, because what I'd like to see is what it would take, how many mil decrease it would take in order to keep us flat to last year's budget, so that we know potentially how much it could go down if we stayed flat to last year's budget. And then at least it just gives us a baseline of kind of where we're starting and what we're looking at,
And I hope that the different departments are thinking the same way. That's, hey, it's a reval year, we're just gonna, put it in abundance of spending, and we can't, it's a rough time out there for a lot of people, so.
Yes, that's.
I just wanted to make that comment and make sure that we're all thinking on the same way.
So should we start now and letting the public know that we're gonna have this available in April, that they'll be able to come in for public comments?
Yeah, I mean, once we
However we do it.
Once we approve the agenda for the budget agendas.
You understand what I'm saying, because nobody,
Right.
No, Mike does a really good job of.
Promote it, and I'll even have it in my email newsletter on Friday. So.
Right, yeah.
We're gonna hear from the same people.
Well, that's fine, but we'll get the word out there.
Yeah, we'll give them the opportunity.
And, like the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So we can get the information out there, and if they don't come, that's, their option.
It's not too much trouble. Could you just take this one page once we approve it and just email it out to everybody? Just because I don't have a way to print from this computer.
Just the top one, this one?
Just the just a hearing date so I can put it in my calendar.
Yep.
Thank you.
So is your suggestion, so should we put a public comment section on each of the workshops? The budget workshops?
Yes.
Okay, so on April 8th and April 10th, item 4 will become public comment, and then item 5 is adjournment.
Got it.
So if you can add that to those two. So we just need a motion to approve the budget calendar as amended, changing budget finalization to April 22nd.
Motion is stipulated.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay. The other question that I have in regards to budget is, I know we do the printed budget books that we have at the April 1st at the public hearing. Is there any way to put a digital copy of that on the website prior to April 1st?
Certainly.
So that-
It has to be a week before I go to the prayers, I can scan it, put that one out there a week before typically.
Okay, I mean, just so that the public has the opportunity to see it prior to the public hearing, so they can review it, and because that's their time to speak is the public hearing, and that will give them more time than getting the book that night and then trying to come up with questions or comments. So that would be great if we can do a digital copy on the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Next item, referral to planning and zoning for the remodeling of public works for an 824 review. But didn't it already go to planning and zoning?
This is just you receiving back from them
Okay.
their favorable review of the 824 review, and those documents are there just for you to see. The next item is the referral of the project.
Oh, okay. So this was just telling us that it did receive a favorable review from planning and zoning, so we check that off the box. And now the next item is to refer Public Works Building Addition and Remodeling to the Permanent Project Building Committee.
Make a motion that North Branford Town Council hereby refers the Public Works Building Addition Project to the Permanent Project Building Committee.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Palladino. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay. The next is, this is an annual bid spec. This is approval of bid specifications for bid 25117, athletic field paint and supplies. We have a motion to,
Find it.
I think it's on 153, 154.
No, we're at 170.
Yeah,
Probably past
sorry.
that.
Here it is.
170 something.
No, it's not. No, it's on 155, page 155, is for the paint for town fields. It's from Public Works. And this is the one that goes out every year. We go through a lot of paint. So we just need approval of the bid specs to go out, and I'm assuming that Franny went over this with Mike Fumiati, so.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept bid 25117?
Motion stipulated.
Second.
Motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Policia. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. The next one is approval of bid specs for bid 25118, the North Branford High School storage shed. I'm going to ask for a request to table this, as this project still has not been approved by the council. So we can't go out to bid on any items because there's no formal approval done yet.
Make a motion to table it.
Motion to table by Counselor Zampano, seconded by Counselor Abelson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is change of vendor for P cards.
Madam Mayor, as you mentioned, this was one of those items that is coming to us through finance. You'll have a memo with me that has underneath it a memo from our purchasing agent and risk manager, Mike Fumiati, detailing how the state of Connecticut has changed its P-card vendor from JP Morgan to US Bank. So we have benefits from piggybacking on that arrangement, and so to continue it, we just need the council's authorization for us to move over to US Bank, and that is the motion that is there before you tonight, allowing me to sign this agreement.
Okay, there's a motion on page 195.
I got it. That the North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes Town Manager Michael P. Downs to sign the P-Card addendum with U.S. Bank to continue using the P-Card program through the state of Connecticut as they switch from J.P. Morgan Bank to U.S. Bank.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Palladino, seconded by Deputy Mayor McMillan. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is accounting for utilities at 305 Forest Road.
There's been discussion at several meetings of, I believe, the building committee as well as the police commission. Due to the HVAC issues at 305 Forest Road, they've endured some extraordinary utility costs, whether it be excessive propane, electricity, and such. And there was discussion to have those costs be borne by the project versus the department. But I need you guys to bless that and want to, a line as to when you say we're going to go from when it's occupied until, you want to say January 1, you want to say February 1. I need to know what your guys' thinking is.
Okay, is this why Office Chief Lovelace is here in regards to this on our agenda? Oh. Well, thank you for staying for so long. But do you have any figures for us? Like, what are we talking about so far, cost-wise?
Range monthly for electrical. Summertime, we're in the above 4,000 range per month. Trends down a little bit now to about 2,800. So that over 6 months.
Is that just electrical?
That's just electrical, yeah.
What about?
So because one of the reasons the commission and the permanent project building committee were looking at this was due to the HVAC system and the failure there of that design. So what was happening during the summer and also with the gas, we're running about 4,000 gallons. We burned up propane already in 6 months, 4 to 6, somewhere in there, is because they had to reheat so they were cooling the building, and then it would cool too fast, but it wouldn't pull the humidity out. You've heard all this from the building committee. But to do that, they had to reheat the air in the building to then recool the air in the building, which is why we have exaggerated costs for that. I can't speak for the committee, I think, but attributing it to the cost of the building right now, I think is a tool for them on whatever the final resolution is with the town attorney.
But we don't, at this point, we don't have an idea of how long this could take.
I could not tell you. So to fix the system from going to the meetings, even if we ordered the equipment last month in December, it would be over a year before that equipment even came in. That was the fix they were talking at that time. They've come up with some other solutions they're going to try in the meantime, but I can't tell you if those are going to work until June, July, August, when they actually turn the HVAC back on. So
yeah.
I'd love to give you a guarantee and say what it is, but
you don't have a magic ball.
Well,
We can leave it open until June 30. If you want to change this fiscal year, we'll see how the costs accumulate, see how the utilities run. We still have time to modify this year's budget. We do it before now on June 30, and if it spills into the following year, they make an adjustment next year as well. How long this goes on, as Jimmy said, until he gets through a good season, you won't know the firm number. But rather than pick a number now, your point is valid, it hasn't been fixed yet, why draw a line in the sand currently? I just want you guys to be on board, because there was talk about why move the numbers, like, well, we don't have any.
But the other part is this says to charge all the utility bills, but there would be, if the system worked correctly, there would be a charge to the police department. So, and I know we don't know that because it's the first year we're in the building, so you have no baseline.
You
But
estimate about 20 to 24,000 for that 6 months. You said 4,000 a month.
Yeah,
3,800.
so obviously I'm doing my budget now, and I have to base it off the numbers from the last 6 months because I have nothing to go on. So that's, when I come in front of you, those are the numbers I have to use, right? Because I don't know when the system's gonna be fixed. So I'll throw that little egg out there now, that's what you're looking at. So if the numbers run right on the averages, the electrical for the building is gonna be run just under about 50,000.
For a year.
For a year.
So roughly
which is what I budgeted for last year. So the money's, it's not like the money's not in there. But they, I guess it's a tool. Maybe you table it until the PBC explains their reasoning with the attorney they hired. But I think they're just, maybe that gets transferred out at a different time. I can't tell you, but this was the wish of the commission and the permanent project building committee. So.
Out to the 30th or 6:30.
I think it's more.
Waiting. I just wanted you guys to be on board because there was discussion as to why having the
Well,
building.
could you come up with a logical assumption of what the cost could be? Like, for instance,
We probably don't know.
I know, but let's just
If we run out the year, average wise, it's going to be $50,000.
I know, but just listen to the rationale.
Yeah.
So if you had a building that's 6,000 square feet, and it's X number of dollars per square feet to utility, to heat or electric, and now you have a building that's 17,000 square feet, just make a calculation, and so that would be the cost to the department. The rest goes into the project fund. Something like that.
I can tell you when I tried to put the budget together last year and I was
You know?
trying to come up with numbers, I got goose eggs not only from the designer of the building to the construction company putting the building up to calling Wildwood Electric to try to give me some kind of assumption. The assumption was based off of using Franny's building, increasing it from his side. It was just a mathematical guess on my end. If you could come up with somebody that can give you what the cost should be, I'd be more than happy.
I'm just saying so that at least you have a way to budget for the year,
Yeah.
and the other portion of the value goes to the project, and then until we sort it all out. I think
because even using propane, my concern was propane. I budgeted for 8,000 gallons, but I was basing that off of Franny's exterior building, which is the biggest building we have in town that was on propane, but it's not even insulated close to what our building is. And once again, the gas company, the propane company we used, the builder, everybody who designs these things could not give us anything to give me an educated guess for a number of the thing. And that's my problem here. Yeah. I agree with you. That's what I was looking for last budget year because I don't want to, budget 30,000 and it's going to be 60 or it's going to be 15 because then I'm shorting somebody else in town under a department. So
the sense that I get is we're not opposed to this, but I think we need more information as far as because. And I'm fine with going to June 30th, and then we can always extend it, and we can modify the thing. The thing that's bothering me is that it says all utility bills, that the project is going to assume all utility bills, and we don't know, at this point, we don't even know what the project, how much money is left in the project. We haven't seen any numbers in regards to that, and I don't think we should be committing that everything goes to the project when you know that some of those costs would have been in the building, in the budget anyway, in their budget.
I thought we discussed this, you brought this up. You couldn't actually give us any numbers. You wanted to wait the year and go through the first year before you actually putting numbers together.
Yeah.
So I think we still should do that.
Well, no, but
Comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I'm talking about for budget purposes, the whole normal year, let's call it. This isn't a normal year because of the extraordinary costs.
The extraordinary circumstances that are going on.
right, so that's what this motion is referring to, is the extraordinary expenses,
Correct.
not his budget.
Exactly.
Right. Extraordinary items that the commission feels are building issues that shouldn't be borne by the department.
Correct.
So,
When you recoup those,
Yeah, I think we need to send it back to permanent project to see if,
it's in your budget?
Ask them to come back to us with if they can, with a percentage.
Or at least
Yeah.
give some guesstimation.
Yes, a percentage guess. Chief, I'm just curious, I'm assuming this is all being documented very well in case it goes to litigation later on?
Yeah.
If we try to recoup this stuff?
Yeah, all the communication I have, at least with the PBC with problems in that nature, go to Mike Fumiati through an email. And then he has the correspondence to reach out to the rest of PBC, the GC, or whoever it is from that. So everything's time stamped that way. And I know the PBBC has their minutes and their discussions.
But I mean, as far as dollar figures.
Oh yeah, I mean everything. The bill has to come in. We put it through Munis. It has to get paid. The reason we set up we already had accounts set up as a budgetary process anyway. That's the reason why we ran them through those accounts so we could track and things of those nature. But with new buildings and there's problems, it's going to be 3 to 5 years before we have an idea on good solid numbers. So.
okay, so,
I wish I could give you the exact numbers now, but that's.
no, I mean, we understand the predicament that you're
Yeah.
in, and I understand this motion. I just think we need more information on this. So I would like to table it and try and get some more.
I'll bring that communication back to the
Permanent project and
to the
the commission?
commissioners tomorrow night when I see them,
Right.
and then I can follow up with PBBC to say
Right, and see if there's.
50%, 30%. Give the
Right,
council some
and
kind of
that
direction.
can always be adjusted,
Yeah.
but for right now, I think we need some kind of a number, and even, if we extend it to June 30th, just let them know that we're willing to look at it later. We just need to know more information about the HVAC issue and everything else, and we can just keep addressing this issue as we go through.
We're paying the bills as of right now, so we're not,
Right, okay,
going broke. So,
okay,
all right.
great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next item is contingency transfer.
As the mayor had mentioned, at finance committee, we discussed.
Excuse me, Rose,
some
do
of
we
the,
need to vote on the table?
We need a motion to table the other one?
Sure, to make it official, we'll just,
Motion to table.
Second.
okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay. On to contingency transfers.
We are in our third year of working with the Munis software, and we're encountering some problems. And Dennis, our IT expert / department head / jack of all trades back there, has reached out to Munis to get some information on a program that, quite honestly, we probably should have been involved with from the get-go and bought some additional support. This is a new software to all of us here, 90% of us, I should say.
You mean the Munis package?
Munis package. And we have no base knowledge on a lot of the functionality of it. As I mentioned to finance, part of the problem is that we just don't know what we don't know. We keep finding these things. There was one that popped up yesterday as Terry was doing her quarterly reports. She did some workers' comp adjustments for 3 folks that were on workers' comp, and the code was set up incorrectly when we converted over to Munis. It hasn't been touched since we converted. She tried to do them in December, and when she goes to her quarterly reports, code was improperly set up. Whether it's financial, whether it's using the functionality, there's many features. It's kind of like using Excel. You use about 5% of what Excel could probably do. There's so much power to it. The same with Munis. It's probably a little too much power for us. But in order to get by, again, Dennis has reached out, and he can elaborate more eloquently than I can. Some of the issues and the obstacles that we're facing that are now also causing us to delay our audit because we can't get numbers for the expense accounts to flow properly. So there's issues where we can use some assistance on the accounts payable side of the world. There's issues we can use on the bank reconciliation that we haven't been trained in properly. There's so many unknowns and so much hand-holding we need still that, Dennis, you want to elaborate or chime in or?
You're doing a great job.
What, with Munis or explaining?
I agree with everything you said. And I think one of the key things you said is Munis might be a little bit too much for us. So that's one of the problems, I think, is how do you take this enterprise finance system and bring it down to the scale of what North Branford needs. We didn't have training in that. We paid for implementation services, not training. So why Munis didn't bundle this in and tell us day one we should have purchased this, I don't know. But what we're looking for, the funds for, is for 9 days, 72 hours of training, one-on-one. It'll be remote. We'll get a project manager, so a focal point. Right now, we just pick up the phone and call an 800 number, and you get who you get. So we get a project manager that we could filter all this through and say, yes, our payroll person needs 4 hours on how to do 1099s or whatever she's working on, you know, W-4s, especially yearly stuff. We don't have the knowledge. We don't have the depth of knowledge because some of these things we only do once a year. And we only have one person in a lot of these functions. So the idea is to, if we can get the funds to do this, we do the training, remote, they're all going to be recorded, they're going to be stored, so it's shareable. So then if you have a new person coming doing a role, they could pick it up and say, oh, here's how we learned how to do this function. Create our own internal knowledge base, and we've also talked about reaching out to Board of Ed and start creating our own little users group, like how are they doing some of these functions. They don't have all the pieces we do, but a lot of them they do. So that's what we're looking for. It was discounted from like 10,000 something down to 8,550, 72 hours to
I think you gotta
130.
go back and push them a little bit more. I mean, you know, I've had a problem with this in Finance Committee.
The rate is 165 an hour. They've come down more than 30%, 113 an hour.
But we should have had training in the beginning.
We should.
This was a poor implementation. It was said themselves that you guys have had several people come in, and now they're selling you another product called professional services. This is like sales 101.
And they should have sold that day one.
We are not the only small municipality using this.
Yep.
And I'm 100% sure that they have things that can help, where there's already tutorials and self-learning systems that you can go in and figure out how to do this.
There is. You're absolutely right. If you had the time, if you had the time to do it.
So,
if you had the time to stop your job, to do it, try it in a test environment, have it fail.
Training, right?
And no, they're going to train us on how to do it the right
But
way.
you're going to take that time to do it, right?
While we're doing the work, yes.
You know, I get it. I understand. I'm saying
That training's only 72 hours?
It's 72 hours in 4-hour increments,
And you
so
gotta
we
train
can
the
do it
trainer
any way
and
we
the
want.
people that could train other
While
people
you're
here.
still,
Any way you want, we can do it.
not to confuse matters, sorry, just give me 1 second. Not to confuse matters, but something to consider. This is a very essential core piece of our responsibilities here in town. Would it make sense, even though it would be a greater expense, to put an RFP out there and hire somebody as a consultant for a year or something like that? That would be at our beck and call. That has the background in Munis, because I know me personally. I'm starting a business right now, and I've tried to do trainings while doing stuff, and I swear to God, a day or two later, I have to go back and look at my notes and refresh my memories of what I just took in that training. So to have somebody on call or here 3 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever, I don't know, would that be more beneficial, even though it would be
It's a good idea. We've looked into it. There's a Connecticut users group, and no one in Connecticut knows of anyone that offers that service.
Typically, these type of municipal services like this, these type of, you know, like Salesforce does stuff like this, they have those resources internally as well. So you might be able to get someone attached to our customer code that is a project manager. You got to push them. I mean, I know you guys have pushed. I know you guys have made the calls, but I offered to even make the call with you, just because I I can probably speak some of the jargon to them that I know that they're selling. But there may be a way for us to push to go a little higher level. So we're talking to service person, and the service person then has a manager, and then there's a district manager, and there's lineage of different people above them. You can get into maybe some management folks that can check a box, and you'd be surprised how quickly 30% turns into 50% or 70% off, or more, or free services that can come along with this. This isn't unique. We're not the only small municipality that doesn't understand how to use this tool. It's probably more commonality than not. And the fact that we have people that are onboarding and offboarding all the time as well, and it happens in this world. It's, you know, it happens often. I personally would suggest that we look a little bit deeper into it to see if we can get more of a discount before we put more money towards this, because I'm not convinced this will fix the problem, to be honest with you. I think that this is a complex system that will consistently have more and more issues. And if they haven't sold us the right product up front, maybe we have to call them, you know, holding their feet to the fire. I know for certain during implementation they had at least 2 or 3 people that scaled on, scaled off, that were helping kind of on board and get everyone prepared. So I'm sure that there were some gaps there that we can expose for them and, you know, make a case. That would be my suggestion.
Well, I think the point that Dennis mentions too is valid. Go back to your point, Ron. And you're not going to probably find one person who knows every aspect of all different modules, where the proposal that Dennis is working on, basically he has a point person who's going to be our project manager. That if it's a payroll question, he gets Bruce involved. If it's an AP question, he gets Tom involved. And so he brings the right person in to handle that situation, and he kind of coordinates everything for us. It'd be ideal if we had somebody who knew soup to nuts, everything about Munis, everything you want to know about Munis, but we're afraid to ask, right? Is it out there? There might be. People have used Munis for many, many years.
I'm just thinking somebody that retired from another town that was like their guru or something. It might not be that easy to find, but I just figured I'd throw it out there.
It's worth talking about.
Don't we have central government societies?
CCM.
Yes, there it is, CCM. Can we tap into there and see if there is anybody out there that?
I mean, we could, you know.
I think we have to look at every option that we can.
I think you're spinning your wheels. Go back to the company. And you can get them to do, the people to actually do this, and they'll be able to do it for you. I know this.
This is municipal.
Trust me on this one. If we go back to the company and we push harder and make them feel as if they could lose the business, which they don't want to lose the business. No one wants to lose a sale. We can probably get a little bit more out of them than having a 30% discount. A 30% discount is 100% a starting rate discount. It's probably not even a 30% discount. It's probably book pricing, and they're not even showing you a real discount right now.
You want them to keep your product. You think they try to sell something.
You have to go back to it.
I mean, money certainly is a concern, but I'm more concerned about our people getting enough face time with these people and actually learning what they need to do on it. 4-hour increments, 4 hours goes like that.
Well, no, we can do it in 4-hour increments. So we can get someone for 3 days if we want to use it.
Okay.
You get
A minimum of 4 hours, I'm sorry. So if someone needs a refresher on how to do year-end closing, which we've only done once, then we might only need 4 hours of a year-end closing expert.
Do you guys
and
feel
work
that
us
that
through.
would be enough?
Try anything now. The wheels are going now, we can't survive.
Dennis, let's just say we went with this 72 hours.
Mhm.
Then what? Like, okay, now we utilized our 72 hours. We've got some training, we've got some knowledge, but there's always going to be a question. It's right.
And
so then, where do we continue to call them at $130 an hour or whatever?
Well, they have these PACE packages. This is a 9-day package. I think they had a 5.
6 days.
6 day.
Yeah.
So on an annual basis, you can lock into these things, and maybe we need to do that, budget that we need additional help, holding our hand until we get this up to snuff. And 9 maybe for the first year, and keep it down as we go on further down the road.
Do they have like an annual subscription?
That's what this is annual. So this is 9 days over a 1-year period. We can use any way we want.
So they have different packages for different days. So as we get more experience, we might only need a 3-day.
Well,
right.
But we need many days because we don't have the experience, right? I mean,
yeah, that's why Anthony came to you with the 9 days, right?
So
$8,500 $8,550.
I think,
Is 9 days their largest package?
Yes.
So this is their largest package.
Is the Board of Education having the same issue?
Well, that was one of our questions. and
Board of Ed has not implemented payroll yet. Every year.
Yeah, we've been on this for how many years?
We're in our third year.
Third year.
Bleeding money,
Working
pissing it
with
away.
the last 5 years, you know, the implementation and everything else, it's been a saga.
Well, the problem, as Anthony said, is, so, we should have had our audit in this month. They should have been done in December, but we had to extend it because there's things that they can't do yet, that they don't know how to do. So the auditors can't finish the audit and so we don't even know when that audit's gonna be. So the last audit we got mid-year last year, which was for the following, it was useless to us because we just closed the following year after that when we got the year before audit. So we went through a whole year without having the audit done, and we're on the same track right now.
What do they pay for this system?
A lot.
What's not here?
Like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
$100,000 in
No, not 100, hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yes.
And they didn't give you the proper training for it.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
How much
I
did
was
we
asking
pay
how
for
much they pay
this?
for the system.
Well,
but
we've
you don't have to-
invested over $500,000 so far.
Right.
So,
Between us and the Board of Ed.
right. So my point is for $8,550, I think it's a worthwhile investment to protect that $500,000 so that we could actually use it correctly and get to the point where we're comfortable with it and we should be doing
What I'm
month-end
trying to tell you is that's not gonna fix your problem.
month-end closes, and then year-end closes, reconcile the bank statements, and get it into a routine. That'll fix the problems.
So you get the qualifications of the trainer? Because you, obviously, it's a problem.
We're working with the project manager to make sure we have the right person. Yeah.
And if it's not the right person, are they going to get you the right person?
Okay, so let's make.
Well, they have in the past, and when we didn't have the right person, they credited us
Right, and
over
they come back next month
$10,000.
That's not the.
A figure.
So, and they fix the problem. We're a small account for Tyler, so they have given us a lot of concessions. They've done a lot for us. It's not going to be perfect. They have a lot of employees, and they've acknowledged that, and they did fix it for us.
So
So,
monetary isn't what we need, or we need the person with qualifications to sit there and give us the training.
I like, if we can't get anything for free, if we can't, I'm just saying if we can't, or something drastically reduced, I'm thinking the way Ron's thinking. We need someone on site that is the go-to person all the time for any question, for whatever that time frame is. A month, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, because it's too important. I mean, we can't, we need our financials now, not, right?
Is it hiring a part-time?
And that, I mean, that's a cost that we're gonna have to,
Okay, so how about Jeff has made the offer to make the phone call to Tyler to see if we can reduce this $85.50 cost. So we table this until next month, make the call in between to see if we can reduce this amount of money, and then it comes back to us next month it's a starting point.
okay. I just have one thing to add to that. I'd like Mike or somebody to come up with a plan going forward, because even if you get it to 4,500 or 3,500 or free,
Yeah.
then what?
I don't know if that's even.
You know?
Right, yeah, no.
We need some ongoing help every time we ask.
Yeah, I mean, even at that, you're talking 9 days.
Right.
And how many people need to be trained on it?
Your hope is that you're training the trainer or two, and then.
There's different aspects. There's, like I said, the accountant needs help doing bank recs. There's some accounts payable, there's some general ledger, some purchasing. Everybody has a little bit, so those 4-hour blocks seem to work where it may be 4 hours with you doing purchasing, 4 hours of Craig doing accounts payable, 4 hours with Marie doing year-end close, whatever, so we can kind of.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you take those 9 days, you divide them up by the amount of people that we have that need help. How many hours per person does that come out to?
Well, some of the jobs could be bank recs, once they go through it, you could be done in an hour.
Right.
with figuring, doing all the bank recs, so then you move on to the next thing. Same person, they just move from bank recs to something else, so it gets done. And, you know, bank recs to me are pretty easy. And so the system, once you know how the system handles it, and if you have the video and you can go back and reference, great. I'm the type of person to learn by doing and having someone show me, and then you have the backup of, there's the video on there. And so I find that very useful, and I think most people would, especially on a system this new and having no experience in it. So I think the first option is to try to reduce the cost, but I totally agree with Tom that we need to have a plan as to how we are going to sustain this, because we have too large of an investment in the program.
Can we put, just as a suggestion, maybe to put it out there for a part-time, somebody who's experienced in Munis that has done this, to hire a part-time person.
Part-time temporary, yeah.
A part-time temp, go to a temp agency. And
Well, we're going into budget season, so it's the perfect time to discuss
Yeah, I
it.
mean, you gotta find someone qualified to do that. That's
Maybe
not
while-
easy.
I know that's a.
Maybe
that's
while
all.
Jeff's doing this, simultaneously, we can have somebody do a deep dive out there and find out if there actually is any consulting people somewhat locally that we can get an idea from them as well. Just so we're not wasting time.
Yeah, I think we, not necessarily a consultant, we need someone that is
Right.
hands-on, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be a worthwhile investment if we had someone.
Yep. So, so this is the only contingency transfer, so do we want to table this?
We just have to take someone's car away, right?
What?
Simple to pay
Take
for
my
it.
car.
Okay, so do I have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay, so if Anthony and Mike can connect with Jeff
I'll come in either next week or the following week. We can make that
and we'll start from there.
call. Or this week if you want.
Yeah, no, it's gotta be this week.
Yeah, this week.
This week's fine. That's fine.
This week.
I'm sorry.
Thursday, Friday's fine.
You don't know anybody in other towns that does Munis? That-
We do, and that's what I was, when Councilor Zampano was asking this question, what I was about to say was, the likelihood of what you'll find is, you know, somebody who is either recently retired or had prior municipal experience or is available, you know, externally from where they are, and, you know, where they are, they can make arrangements to come and visit us, depending on how we want to set up. But to get somebody who has the munis experience, you're probably talking about somebody who is either a finance director or an assistant finance director level from some other town, or used to be, and is familiar at least with the level 11 munis. You know, that's I think it's incarnation 11, because they've had recent changes probably in the last like 3 years, so they couldn't be too far out of the game. But you know, it's possible we would have to, you know, put out the feelers to try to find those people.
Because if we're gonna pay them $165 an hour, you know, reach out to pay somebody who's recently retired, that's done it, you know, $165 an hour is a lot.
It's 135.
I'm sorry, 130.
Overstated.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next item is financial report for 12/31.
Financial report, December 31. The key items I usually highlight, the tax collection, again, is exceeding last year percentage-wise, 62.3% last year, we're up to 64.2% this year. Total revenue, again, ahead of last year's pace, 57.9% of budget compared to 53.0% of budget. On the expense side, the same large department being over is insurance, which we can remedy after April when we get the money between departments. Aside from that, there's nothing else remarkable about that.
Did you use Munis to get these numbers?
Well,
Leave it to Tom.
well, that's very related to the question I was going to ask, is when you do these comparatives, like on here.
Yes.
Is this a Munis report?
This is an Excel sheet that comes off the Munis reports. The general fund,
Double check it.
fortunately, being our largest fund and our primary base, is not one of the ones that's adversely affected by the issue we're having with purchase orders. It's more about the capital projects that aren't flowing through. That's accurate, Seth? Yeah. The general fund numbers are a lot more valid, and I'm more comfortable with these numbers than the capital projects where, again, the multi-year, the POs didn't close, should they have closed, did they close, how did they handle the following year? That's where a lot of the angst is with those numbers. And they're big numbers, as you can imagine, with the size of the project. But no, to go back to your point, these are accurate.
Okay, so this comes off of Munis.
It comes off a Munis report.
A Munis report.
That I transpose into my
Excel
spreadsheet that we have for.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering how, because.
I have faith in those.
Okay, so if you can do it on the town side, the Board of Ed should be able to do it on their side. If they're using Munis, right? If this is, if this is from a Munis report.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, the Board of Ed, part of the whole challenge of us having two different systems kind of makes double the work because, they do their check run, hundreds of checks. They then have to download it, export it to Debbie, who then has to import it into our system. If we were all living in the same world.
Well, I thought that's the whole reason we went to Munis.
Well, no, because remember they wanted to play, remember Scott agreed to pay the additional amount to have two different databases. A lot of towns have it as one big package software.
One database.
And there was an option to go two separate databases, and the Board of Ed chose they wanted to play separate. So, and there was an additional cost, I think it was $125,000 over 5 years, and Scott agreed that he would pay that delta. And that's where we're living, but a lot of the work is duplicative because they're doing it, and then they have to kick it over here for us to do it. Whereas if we were all in the same world, it should make life a little bit easier. So it's just little nuances that we're doing things a couple different times, and we should be doing them once, but we're not gonna solve that problem.
Right, and we did go through that consultant program, trying to find synergies that time, and the only synergy we found was to buy Munis, but evidently, but not utilize it together.
Right. Well, their report was, if you're ever gonna get to one finance department, you gotta be in the same software.
Right.
And then it became, let's be in the same software, and like, well, we don't want to be cousins, not brothers with you guys. So that's why, so they have their own version, and we have our own version, and never the two shall meet. But
Okay, next is approval of tax refund. So there's one item on here that we need a motion for. It's the last page. 208.
Is this considered the resolution here? Action taken by government body?
Yes, because we made a motion that anything over 2,500 has to come to us. We used to get all of them, the $10, the $12.
So the motion, as stipulated here, action taken by governing body. At a regular meeting of the North River Town Council held on the 16th day of April 24, it was voted that the authorize town manager and finance director to abate or refund property taxes amounting under 2,500. In this meeting, it was voted that the town council will abate the refund property taxes amounting 2,500 or above. That's as far as it goes there.
Right, that's just explaining why this one refund is
Where is
here.
the suggested? There's not one.
No, you just have to approve.
We
just have to
I
approve
approve the action there.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Deputy Mayor McMillan, seconded by Councilor Zampano to approve the tax refunds as stated. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, next item, citizen statements and petitions.
Potter, Northford. I really thought I was going to get a nap tonight, but it didn't look that way. Again, you have heard from two very qualified men in the trenches doing the job. But then I heard, well, I know a guy Well, I know this woman. Well, I know that guy. I think I know you got to worry about the money. They know what they need, and they need it now. They're sinking. Unex, I mean, if I'm buying a Ford truck, I don't go to the Chevy dealer and say, hey, can you do something better with these? And I don't go to the tire dealer to say, hey, can you put a new engine in? These guys need Unex help. They've found people that are going to help them. And again, I hate when the town puts dollar. I know you have to protect the dollar value, but what do you get when you go to the dollar down here? You don't get the quality you had up here. These guys need help right now. Dennis you can't get much more better help than the two guys you got sitting here right now. They've got forest fires they're trying to put out, and you're trying to buy a cup of water when they need all the help they can get. You got to give them the right to get what they need and do it now. You can't ask somebody temporary, because what happens 3 months later when you found out that's not who you really needed? They don't know what they know, supposedly, to help these guys. They have researched. They have reached out. They have come up with answers. And I didn't hear enough solid information to help me feel comfortable when I leave here tonight. Again, Rose, I take my wallet out and I hand it to you guys, and you do pretty good usually. It's getting a little thin tonight. I don't know why. But again, I'm willing, as a taxpayer, to give our excellent town employees that put so much into their jobs, give them the tools they need. And they're not asking you because they haven't tried something. They've tried everything, and it's not working. And it took them a long time to find out it's not working. But they're losing ground. And if we don't give them what they need at the cost that we may not like, you can't ask. It's like, well, I know this guy. Does he work out of a phone booth? Is he reliable? Is he as a part-time job? Well, what's his other job? He changes tires at town fair. But this is a hobby he has. So again, I'd like to see quality help for our two good people. They're handling our money. They're doing a good job. I think you really have to stop looking all the time for the dollar value and look at how bad the situation is. Throw money at it now and establish a good working relationship with the people that own the product. You can't go to a subcontractor. Look at the problems we're having at the police station. You get what you pay for. And boy, are we getting screwed there with the HVAC. Don't do the same thing to the finance department, or we won't have any money to fix anything.
So we'll accept your donation. We're happy to approve that.
Here, what do you want?
I'll give you $20 right now.
I don't have to do it.
Okay.
That's how willing I am.
No, I appreciate
Okay,
it.
any more public comment? Cliff?
Thank you. Just again, I do appreciate you guys, really. I mean, compared to how other towns operate, we still got a great town. But I think our people in the trenches have asked.
We're working with them on it. Don't
Okay,
worry.
all right.
Our discussion was we're working with them on it.
All right,
So,
but I mean, they need help now.
Yep.
And we can't look for the bargain basement. I mean, I nicknamed North Branford Intermediate School No Bottom in Sight. I don't want to have to do that again.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
With who?
Item A, CGS 1-200, CGA personnel.
To include the town manager, the assistant town manager,
Town attorney.
town attorney, Carrie?
Carrie.
She can if you're good with that.
I'm
Yes.
Thanks, Rose. Mr. Trino.
I mean, he's chair of the Park Rec Commission. It's up to you. It doesn't matter.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Are you okay with that?